Pascal Siakam made an enormous leap over the course of the regular season to become the clear candidate for the Most Improved Player award. He went from being a leader of the Raptors bench mob to being their third best player, with some even wondering if he might be more valuable than Kyle Lowry. But while the improvement was clear, many wanted to wait until the playoffs before anointing him a star and the Raptors' next great player. Well, the playoffs have arrived, and Siakam has continued this dominant performance, carving up Orlando over the course of the series for 22.6 points, 8 rebounds and 3 assists a game, while shooting for 60% true shooting. Without his play, the Toronto Raptors would have struggled a lot more in the series against the Magic. He provided a release foul for Kawhi in the half court and was either scoring points or forcing mismatches in transition. Siakam showed his immense improvement in skills and poise on the court during the regular season. But during the playoffs, he has shown that he has the mindset to take on a starring role and to be the man on the team. And this could be even more important with the potential for Kawhi to leave this offseason. This video will break down exactly how Pascal has improved, why he is so important for the Raptors team, and why he could be the future of the franchise if Kawhi Leonard does sadly leave the Raptors. We hear a hell of a lot about players' effort levels, how much they run back, and how often they whinge and sook about the referees, and we all remember the vicious throwdowns on the fast break. While these sayings may seem like platitudes, they exist for a reason. Effort and composure in transition is one of the easiest ways to score points, or concede them, and Pascal Siakam exudes both effort and composure. Watching Raptors games, you see Pascal either boxing out, grabbing the rebound, or getting ready to leak out. And this is the beautiful thing about Siakam. He doesn't jeopardize his team's rebounding by constantly leaking out when the shot is released. He waits until he knows that it is highly likely that the Raptors will pull down the rebound before sprinting off to the other end of the court. And sprint he does. Siakam is simply lightning fast down the court, and he uses his long legs to get out in front of his own man, and a lot of the time in front of the entire opposing team. Once there, it is almost game over, as Pascal has quite long arms, is very coordinated on the catch, and can finish in transition with the best of them. There have been so many times where Pascal looks like he'll be forced under the basket, only for him to stop, lean back, and curl a shot off of the glass and in. It is simply incredible to watch. There are a lot of guards and a few wings who can match Siakam's effort and finishing skills in transition. But the one thing he has on them is size. Chasing down a guy who is 6'2" in transition is a lot easier than trying to block the 6'9" Siakam, who has an extremely high release on his layups and hooks to go with it. The other thing he has is he doesn't have to worry about bringing the ball up the court. He has one of the best passing point guards in the league in Kyle Lowry to worry about that and feed him the rock. Lowry is a wizard at looking for Pascal and other Raptors in transition and ensures that the big fella gets all the reward for his efforts. But perhaps the scariest thing about Pascal is when he gets a quick or a long rebound. He can dribble, and he is still lightning fast with ball in hand. And big guys just are not used to chasing guys like this in transition. He uses this skill to get easy looks at the rim, or to dish it out to his teammates for wide open threes. And because of this, there isn't really any area that Pascal is weak in transition. But worry has come for him in the half court. Doubters of Siakam pointed to the half court and said that he didn't have enough moves and didn't have a tight enough handle to score on players in a half court setting. This is true to an extent. Pascal isn't a first option in the half court at the present, but acting like it is a huge issue is a massive overreaction and a bad take. Siakam has worked exceptionally hard on his half court skills in order to be able to score more effectively. He does this in 3 main ways: attacking off of the curl, taking mismatches in the post, and spotting up for threes in the corner. The first way he scores is featured in a lot of Raptors offensive sets. Pascal isn't always the main option, but they'll run an off-ball screen as a second option for Pascal at the high-ish post/elbow area. If the initial option doesn't pan out, or Pascal is the main option, the ball handler will look to give Siakam the ball just as he comes off of the screen. This gives him that little bit of separation that allows him to attack downhill for a layup, dunk, or one of those little floaters that he has become perfect at. In a way, it is like giving Pascal a mini transition. It gives him the separation and allows him to attack a defense which isn't settled. And this is where Siakam thrives. He can struggle to just take a guy his size off of the dribble every possession, but when he has an advantage, he almost scores every time. And another way the Raptors get this advantage is having him set screens to force a switch. Once he has a smaller guy on him, he takes them into the post where he can overpower them. Pascal doesn't have a super refined post game, but he has solid footwork and uses his fast and powerful first step to create separation. And from here, he finishes with a great hook and floater that he has mastered, or hits them with his lethal pump fake and up and under. Both are very simple moves, but against a disadvantaged defender, he scores with ease or forces a double for his teammates to get wide open. Siakam knows this and is very aggressive in demanding the ball when he has the mismatch, and he gets them a lot, especially when he gets out in transition, then settles into a half-court situation. Due to his speed, a lot of the time smaller players just end up guarding him in the half-court. When this happens, Lowry and Kawhi have been quick to get him the ball and let him go to work. Siakam can also take players off the dribble in isolation, but when you have Lowry and Kawhi to do this, there isn't that much point, so Pascal can end up taking a back seat on the half-court sometimes, but he has developed his three-point shot to a solid enough level to be a great floor spacer. Without this, it would be tough to have him on the floor, as defenders could easily help off of him and calm down the Toronto Raptors offense. But just being able to drain threes at a respectable level keeps these defenses honest. Pascal shot 37% from deep this season on 2.7 attempts per game, a huge increase from the 22% that he shot last season on 1.6 attempts. And so far in the playoff series against Orlando, he increased his three-point shot attempts to 4.4 and maintained his great shooting percentages. All signs point to this skill getting better and better, which will only continue to make Siakam more dangerous. And Pascal doesn't have to shoot the three when he is open. He also loves to hit defenders with a pump fake and attack the scrambled defense with his ferocious drives, especially from the corner and along the baseline. All in all, Pascal has become a very positive player in the half court, who can contribute when the ball in his hands and help to space the floor when it isn't. As Siakam becomes more and more dangerous, teams have begun to double team him more and more frequently. This is likely in an attempt to unsettle him, force him to pick up his dribble and turn it over. But to the league's surprise, Pascal has learned to deal with this double team very quickly. In transition, he is more than willing to pass to open shooters and is fantastic at putting the brakes on and executing a quick dribble handoff for a wide open three. His passing isn't particularly flashy, but for a guy who is 6'9" and runs at his speed, it is impressive and very important. It stops the easiest way of disrupting efficient hardline drive scorers, and it helps the engine that is Toronto's offense continue to run. The Raptors use a lot of pick and rolls and drives to collapse defenses and force help. And when you chain multiple drive and kicks in one possession, it almost always leads to a good look from three or at the rim. Kawhi, Kyle and Pascal are the three key guys for the Raptors in the system to create separation. But all of their players are willing passers and good shooters, and it makes them one of the toughest teams to stop in the NBA. It's this willingness to move the ball and his shooting that has Pascal fitting right into the team without demanding shot after shot. And when he eventually becomes the star in Toronto, it will help him deal with the extra attention. A lot of great young players do tend to drift in and out of the game on the defensive side of the ball. They have walked into the league on scoring talent and haven't had to place the level of focus on the defensive side of the basketball. This isn't true for Siakam. He earned every minute he played in the first two seasons with his energy and his defensive intensity and skill. Pascal has great length and great lateral foot speed and uses it to stay in front of quicker and smaller wing players. Then he has the length and surprisingly the strength to be able to bang with bigger players in the paint. And as his minutes and offensive role have increased, the defensive intensity hasn't dropped. Siakam still brings it almost every single night and is a big reason why the Raptors have such a good defense. Pascal allows them to switch on defense 2 through 4. With Danny Green, Kawhi Leonard and Pascal, they might actually have the best set of wing defenders in the entire NBA. They are all elite at defending and can seamlessly switch whenever they like, allowing them to slow down and limit the league's best perimeter scorers. Against Philadelphia, this will be exceptionally useful as they attempt to contain Simmons, Butler and Harris, as well as Redick and Embiid. And if they manage to get past Philly, it will be essential in stopping any team they face, the Golden State Warriors included. All elite modern NBA teams have multiple wing options that tend to be great scorers, and having the tools to stop them is key. But will the Raptors have the tools going past this season? The Raptors have most of their players locked up for next year. They have Lowry, Ibaka, Powell, Van Vliet, OG and Siakam on contracts. But Kawhi and Danny Green are unrestricted free agents this offseason, and then the entire Raptor roster is essentially due for free agency the year after. The only player that you can almost guarantee will be with Toronto for the next 4 to 6 years is Pascal. The Raptors will likely extend him this offseason or match any offer for him in restricted free agency the year after. Toronto will be prioritising on re-signing Kawhi Leonard this offseason, but if they don't, they might look to retool and rebuild around Siakam from 2020 onwards. Lowry, Gasol and Ibaka will be getting older, and Toronto might need to explore their options to build a contender if Leonard does leave. But Siakam is a fantastic building block to have for them either way. He's only played 3 years in the NBA and will continue to improve on the offensive side of the court. I firmly believe he'll be an all-star next season, and he's also the kind of player that would fit alongside almost any player in the league. This flexibility and his promising career should keep Toronto relevant, even if Kawhi does sadly leave. Thanks for watching guys, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, be sure to leave a like and subscribe for videos every Saturday. And let me know in the comments below what you think of Pascal and the Raptors.